And a very good morning to you from an extremely soggy London and St Pancras International Station, just over the road from King's Cross Station. And today I'm going to start a circular walk from here that will take around about 3 hours, not at too much of a high speed, but St Pancras is always a good place to start a journey around London, be it on foot or jumping onto public transport. It's a very well connected place. You've got the London Underground, which of course connects with the Piccadilly Victoria Circle Line, Hammersmith and City, Metropolitan and Northern Line. You've also got the Thames Link services going up to places like Cambridge, Bedford, Peterborough, Brighton, Gatwick Airport, Luton Airport, and a whole host of other places too. You've got South Eastern high speed services which take you to delightful places such as Ashford, Canterbury and round the Kent coast. And of course you've got Eurostar, which will take you to Paris, Brussels and Amsterdam. So yeah, it's a great place. And of course over the road here, King's Cross, which will take you up to, which will also take you to places such as Cambridge and further north, Edinburgh, Newcastle. It's a great place to connect, change trains or to begin a journey in London. But today, this trip round London is going to begin on foot. And I'm starting from right between the two stations. There's King's Cross Station, or King's Cross St Pancras Tube Station. Just behind that is King's Cross Station itself. There's St Pancras International. And up here, I'm going to begin the journey with a walk along the Regents Canal and head off towards Camden Market. And I'm going to take a walk along the Regents Canal towards Primrose Hill, Regent's Park, through Regent's Park and back round towards St Pancras via one or two other spots. So stay watching if you want to see what we see along the way. I'm not expecting it to be overly busy this morning as it is still raining. But this used to be quite a rundown, derelict part of London, as was St Pancras Station back in the 80s. In fact, it was nearly demolished back then. But it's been completely redeveloped around here. There's lots of high-end cafes, restaurants, places to look at. And it's well worth a visit in its own right. Anyway, I want to stay under cover just for a little bit, don't want to get too wet too soon, and head up towards the Regent's Canal. I'm guessing that the boat trips won't be operating just yet, or not until the weather picks up at least later on today. And there we have the Regent's Canal. Right at the back of both stations now. Of course, if this was a warm sunny day, it really would be quite busy along here. A lot of people sat out here, especially during the week when it's lunchtime. A lot of people come and sit down here, have the lunch, eat the sandwiches and so on that work in many of these offices around here. Coal Drops Yard as well. Some interesting shops in there. So it's, as I say, this is worthy of at least half a day of anyone's time when you're in London, just around this part, around the railway stations and the shops and establishments that are around here. I'm going to head down to the canal now. Not going to be stopping at the shops this morning. It's a mixture of old and new, really. This was freight yards back in the day, and also warehouses and so on and so forth. There's even some old gasometers over there that have been turned into luxury flats. So it's quite an interesting place to have a little look around. Anyway, Regent's Canal. I'm going to be taking a right turn here towards Camden. If you take a left turn and keep walking, you will end up in the east end of London at Limehouse Basin, which is where it reaches the River Thames. And turning right, if you carry on past Regent's Park, you'll end up at Paddington Basin, where it connects with the Grand Union Canal. The Grand Union Canal being the canal that used to bring all the goods into London and out of London from the Midlands, and connected with the canal network in general across this country. This canal, once again, quite a few years ago now, became quite run down. A lot of junk thrown in it, and not a particularly pleasant place to come, not a particularly safe place to come as I recall. But it's been cleaned up, it's been tidied up, and a walk along the canal, even in the pouring rain like today, is always quite a pleasurable experience. There are boat trips along the way, notable places, as I say, Camden Market, which will be our first stopping off point. Opens at 10 o'clock in the morning. Lots of food stores, lots of interesting shops, and then Camden in general is again a place worthy of a good look around. If you want to ditch the tube or the buses in favour of just a walk round some of the well-known but not such well-known places in London, you'll see them all if you walk along this canal. And if you've really got a day and the legs for it, then get yourself out to Limehouse and walk the full length of the canal all the way to Paddington. Plenty of places to stop on the way to get something to eat or drink. You don't need it to turn into a marathon, that's for sure. As you'll see, there are boats along here. People actually live in these boats permanently or part-time. And quite often you'll see further down anyway, certainly towards the east end, there's areas where they've moved onto the towpath a little bit and are conducting their lives. Very quiet this morning, obviously. It's still fairly early, and it is a rather damp day. It's one of my favourite parts of London, this, away from the really touristy stuff. All the obvious places on the South Bank, London Eye, Buckingham Palace, all those kind of places. This is, although it's been gentrified, is it? Gentrified would be the term, quite a lot compared to how it used to be. It's still interesting. And the canal hasn't really changed much over the years. It's still a canal, and boats still go up and down it. And that is St Pancras Lock number 4. And that's always interesting if you've never seen it done before. Boats entering a lock and dropping down a level, or going up a level. How they do it, opening the lock gates and so on. I'm not going to stand around here waiting for a boat to come, because I might be waiting a long time today, and I've seen it thousands of times before. Apparently there are 13 locks on the Regent's Canal, and Wikipedia told me that, so if that's wrong, well, this is lock number 4. If you go out towards the east, around about Islington, there's a tunnel there. I think it's called Islington Tunnel. You can't walk through it, you've actually got to walk over the top. In fact, there it is, shown there, Islington Tunnel, and it is signposted how you can walk out over the top and then back down to the canal. can of course take a boat trip if you wish to go through the tunnel, but you can't walk through it. Yeah. Just here, these used to be extremely ugly old gasometers. For those of you who don't know what a gasometer is, they used to hold gas. Town gas that was produced locally would be pumped into those, and they would rise up and lower down, a bit like giant bellows, but a lot more slowly as the gas inside increased or decreased through usage. So typically they'll be very high in summer and quite low in winter as the gas requirements changed along with the weather and the need for gas. And they've been turned into these rather swanky looking apartments now, as you can see. And then this particular one here, the actual gas tank or holder, has been removed completely, and the infrastructure around the outside of it is still there. You can see the big wheels on the side there. They used to hold it in place, and it was like a sort of a big concertina type thing that would go up and down as the gas inside increased or decreased accordingly. Now it's just pumped from underground and sent by pipe to more or less everywhere, really. I would have seen a few trains. That's trains coming out of St Pancras Station. We'd be going across this this bridge here.
Yes, I'm ready to see him.
One thing's for sure about London: pandemics, stock market crashes, economic gloom, you name it, doesn't seem to stop the development of London. Constantly there's something going up and something new happening. Not always for the good or the better, but there's always something happening. And yes, Lime bikes and scooters and so on are here too, if that's your thing. Did actually say it was going to be light rain showers today, but I'd call this chucking it down, raining cats and dogs. There is another term for it, but I better not use it on here. Never noticed this concrete overhang before. I must have walked along here 100 times and I can't recall ever having seen this. It's got Elm Village, Camden on the side of it, 1983, so it's been here a while. What's that, 83? Oh, that's 30 years, isn't it? No, 40 years. 40 years. Yeah, I never noticed that there before. See? Doesn't matter how many times you come into London, you'll always see something you haven't seen before, even if you were born and bred here. Seen a few joggers and cyclists along here this morning, the hardy sorts that don't mind getting soaking wet. But I think the general let's go for an amble on a bank holiday brigade will either postpone till later today or not bother at all. A sign there, Foster's, Australia's famous beer. So So it must have been a bar there, or a pub or something, but it's all boarded up. So outside with live music. The Constitution. Interesting. And a boat, yes, or barge, I should say. On a nice day, there'll be a few more up and down here, but yeah, because of the weather. Anglewood. She was slightly stressed there, as though she was not going to make it through that tunnel properly, or well, it's not really a tunnel, a bridge. That looks perfect to me. Got to get the right angle, especially if there's people on the side of the canal there, on the towpath, filming you. I probably didn't help the situation there. I don't know about you guys, do you like walking in the rain? I love it. I mean, it has its downsides, of course, but the upsides, it's generally more peaceful. It's got quite a calming feel to it when you walk in the rain. If you've got the right kit on, it doesn't really matter. If you're planning on heading for a holiday to somewhere like the Lake District in the UK, or Wales, Scottish Islands, then really you've got to be fully prepared for rainy days, because the chances are, especially the west coast of Scotland, west coast of Britain, chances are it's going to rain at some point. Embrace it. I find it's a bit of a slightly dull part of the canal walk, just along here. It's Camden Road just up there. Big Sainsbury's, should you need to go and buy a 4-pack of ice creams for a couple of quid instead of a £5 each in Camden Market. Just saying. I always used to think this was a really sketchy part of town at one time. Well, it was a really sketchy part of town at one time. I guess if you come here late at night, it probably still is, to a certain extent anyway. This is Kentish Town Road I'm walking underneath now. Just to give you an idea as to where it is, if you look on Google Maps, find Kentish Town Road, where it intersects with the canal. That's exactly where I am. And that's Kentish Town Lock number 3, or lock number 3. Shame we didn't come across that boat, the one and only boat we've seen earlier on. Could have filmed the trip through the lock. Coming up to Camden Market shortly, which has some interesting stalls in there. Lots of different food options. Foods from around the world, really, I'll best describe it as. There's pretty much a bit of something for everyone. Not sure how much will be open yet, but have a little brief wander around. And Camden Market's also a place where you can, clothes shops and so on and so forth, where you can pick up some interesting clothing. Quite a busy place at night as well for music venues, bars, clubs, that kind of thing. And one or two other activities that probably best not mentioned. Later in the day, and also on a nicer day than this place will be absolutely heaving, and certainly around lunchtime as well. I absolutely love it here. Choice of food's absolutely amazing. Probably not the cheapest food you'll find in London. In fact, I can guarantee it won't be. So some of the stalls just starting to open up now, and some wonderful smells knocking about. Masala fries. Oh, it's a bit early for masala fries for me, but I might have to pop back later. Yeah, we're sort of, a lot of these stalls are sort of half open at the moment. Cheesy naan melts. Oh, yeah. Kati rolls. Fish and chips, calamari. Yeah, this will be buzzing later on. So, yeah, if you want a sort of a touristy London experience and so on, this is where you can also grab a boat from here up to Little Venice, which I'm not going to get quite as far as there today. I'm going to go turn off at Regent's Park, but that's a lovely boat ride from Little Venice to Camden Market, either both ways or one way. And of course, you could walk all the way up to Little Venice, have a look around there, which is well worth a look around, get the boat back. Old cobble streets here. You'll love it if you come here. Say it's not really open for business yet today. That's a bridge sign, or a bridge hand with its sign on it that you'll quite often see. Watch out for some of the pricing in here though, some of it's just crazy, and unless there's something specific you want that you don't think you can get anywhere else, it might on occasions be worthwhile to wait until you can find somewhere else to buy it. But yeah, no, interesting place. So probably I'll pop back here later, grab something to eat. Hopefully it'll have stopped raining by then. That, my friends, is Camden Market, or a small part of Camden Market. I was just thinking something here, because it's, well, one, it's a bank holiday, so not so many workers in London today. The weather's pretty poor, and it's still relatively early, certainly for Camden. So it's not a bad time to come down here, actually, because you can have a proper look around without the too much of the hustle and bustle. Worth considering. Come up here at night and so on, then it'll be a whole different game altogether. I've just done a little circle around the market. Right, going to carry on now along the towpath towards Primrose Hill. I'm going to pop up there. It's always quite a nice little view from the top of there, and then back through Regent's Park. These are the water buses here that operate. They don't appear to be actually... Oh, one's gone actually. There was one there a minute ago. Right, this is where to take a little turn off from the canal, just for a little while, and head up to Primrose Hill. So when you see this sign, and it's at Gloucester Avenue. Just take a little walk up this way towards Primrose Hill, and then from Primrose Hill back down onto Regent's Park. Of course, you can carry along the canal. I noticed the sign said Little Venice 2 miles, so that's quite a nice walk. I'll say the total distance from St Pancras to Little Venice would be 3.5, 4 miles max, so yeah, that's not too bad. If you've got little ones with you, they'd enjoy the boat trip. I think you can pay by credit card just as you get on it. Can't use your Oyster card though, not that I'm aware of anyway. Certainly not within your daily cap anyway. You can remain on the canal towpath for a bit longer and take a right turn off there up to Primrose Hill and back. I'm just taking this route through the streets and going to enter Primrose Hill towards the northern end of it, and then walk back down to the canal and Regent's Park from there. So it's more of a round trip. If you look on Google Maps, you'll see what I mean. Bank holiday Monday and the dustbin men are out. Incredible. For those of you that are watching this from other countries and wonder what I keep talking about bank holidays, it's just means a public Easter Monday. It's a public holiday. We call them bank holidays here in Britain. And most people are off work. But not these guys. Sure you'll agree there's some really lovely townhouses in this part of North London, and I can't even begin to think how much they would cost to buy, because London is one of those cities that is crazily expensive and getting more so every year. Look at those houses over there. Fabulous. It's always nice just to walk off the main drag every now and then just to see what's there. And what a nice little place to live. Considering we're in the heart of London, I know it's a quiet day, fairly early in the morning, but can't hear too much noise at all. Overlooking that little square there. Fabulous. Get your wallet out, guys. You're going to need to. Chalcott Square. Lots of Tesla milk floats about as well. Range Rovers. You know what kind of area this is. And now we're just approaching the hill that is Primrose Hill. We'll take a little walk up to the top of there. So welcome to Primrose Hill. It's just a green open space really, like many of them in London. Ideal for coming in, sitting down, having a walk about. Nice little hill if you fancy some running uphill. It's a great place to do it, away from all the traffic and chaos. It's the BT Tower over there, I'll be walking past that later on. You get quite a nice view from up the top of here. Not sure how clear it's going to be today, as it's very overcast, low cloud and pouring with rain. However, I can see City of London coming into view there as well. Right, up to the top. I want to stop talking. Well, here we are, top of Primrose Hill, and there is London before you. It's quite windy, so hopefully you can actually hear me. There's the city over there. The Shard, way over in London Bridge. BT Tower, I can see the London Eye as well. Usually it's absolutely packed up here with people on a warm sunny day. I think the perfect time actually, in some regards anyway. Right, I'm going to head back down Primrose Hill. That is London Zoo, Regent's Park, just before us down there. See you down there. Surprising when you look back at Primrose Hill from down the bottom here, it doesn't look all that high. When you're up there, it does. It's quite deceiving. Anyway, got to cross over this busy road and then cross over the canal, say goodbye to the canal and enter into Regent's Park. I'm sure I mentioned it earlier, but just over there, at this end of Regent's Park, is London Zoo, which again, always, if you like that sort of thing, is always well worthy of a little visit. But Regent's Park in its own right is also worthy of a visit, whether you go in the zoo or not. That's where I was, the viewing platform, walk down here, across here, there now, into the park. There's the zoo. And yeah, up that way you'll eventually get to Paddington Basin, the Grand Union Canal, Little Venice. Back down that way you'll get back to Camden Market, St Pancras, through the East End, back down to Limehouse Basin. I think this must be about 6 miles approximately down that way, and about 2 miles that way from here. That apparently is the Regent's Park running track. Not entirely sure how you get in, but I guess there's a gate to get in there somewhere. Certainly isn't one up this end. Maybe it's invitation only. Okay, if you're coming in from the canal, you'll take a left-hand turn here towards the zoo. That's if you're going to the zoo up there. And if you're going in the park, you go straight on. Well, apparently it's the day of the Regents Park 10k. I've just seen a sign and a marshaller there to make sure people don't run off in the wrong direction. He's just waiting for the main adult race to come around now. Kids have already been, apparently. Yeah. I'll cop some footage of those if I see them. I don't know how many there'll be, but popular thing here in Britain. 10k runs and 5k runs on public holidays and so on. Usually raising money for charity as well. Anyway, the park is fairly quiet this morning, as you can probably appreciate. Due to the weather, it's not really sit down and have a picnic kind of day, but on a beautiful summer's day, it's absolutely splendid in here. Can't see many runners coming yet. $10k. I don't know if there's 10k just in this park or they're running all around London somewhere. I shall have a look. Right, just looked that one up. There's a 3k and 5k as well, but the 10k that's happening supposedly right now is it's a Race for Life event to start with, so it's all for charity. And for those of you who don't know, Race for Life is a cancer charity. So let's hope that they raise lots and lots of money for that. Very worthwhile indeed. Hello. My new best friend. Okay, how big is Regent's Park? Did I mention this? It's part of the Royal Parks, along with Hyde Park, Green Park, and two others. And let's hope that they remain forever, because they're the lungs of London and the place where people can get out and about away from the busy traffic and the fumes and so on and so forth. It's prime real estate, of course, so let's just hope that greed and temptation isn't ever allowed to take over from common sense. I don't think it will, personally. I hope not, anyway. 410 acres, 170 hectares. I believe there's a cafe down here, so I'm going to grab a coffee when I get to it. Oh, I can see the runners now in the distance. There they go. Trees, there's a lot of them. Fair play, well done. Oh, well, while all the runners have been running around the outside of the park, and I can see them over the other side there now, running past where I was earlier on. I'm presuming some are going to come around here because I'm on the running path here. I'm going to catch a clip of that because you never know, there might be somebody famous running today. And if they're any good, they're almost certainly a bit at the front. So despite the fact it's raining, I'm going to take one for the team, stand here and wait for the runners to come, so it's got to be worth a little like. In fact, here they come now. I'm surprised there isn't a marshaller just here actually. Well, I'm sure, right. Here they come. These guys know what they're doing. These guys know what they're doing. Right on, guys. Oh, I'm exhausted now just watching them. All right, onwards, onwards. Well, I've just walked around the what's called the inner circle. So I've come away from the, I suppose you could say, the main part of the park, and in that direction over there is the Baker Street Underground Station, Clarence Gate, Home Green. But I'm going to go this way through Queen Mary's Gardens. There's a cafe here and an open air theatre. Obviously the theatre's closed today. Well, closed at the moment, at least, anyway, because it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, this is quite some nice gardens to have a little walk around. Roses aren't out yet, but won't be long, I don't suppose. Little cafe here does a nice breakfast. Tons of outdoor seating for a nicer day as well. Slightly curious to know what goes on at this open air theatre and when. Sure, I've walked in Regent's Park so many times, I've never noticed this. I'm quite ashamed to admit. 2023 season, 10th of May to the 10th of June. Once on This Island, a musical. There you go. So clearly it's summer, late spring to early autumn schedule. Check it out, might be interesting. Looks like we've got some Shakespeare stuff there as well. London's most enchanting outdoor theatre. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's the beauty of London. When I walked in here, I decided, oh, let's go left instead of right. It's this kind of a circular, these gardens have a circular path right the way around it. Well, I'm not intending to do a full lap, so I thought, I'll go the left way, go clockwise. And there's the blossom coming out there. It's raining harder now. I can barely see the BT Tower in the murk. If you don't mind getting wet, then walking around London on days like this, alright, it's absolutely ideal because you're not stampeded and this is the Triton and Dryads fountain. Hope I'm saying that right. What a nice place to sit and listen to the water. Very calming. Right, so I've essentially left Regent's Park now, thoroughly soaked. Just walking down here towards Marylebone Road. If you take a left-hand turn here, it'll become Euston Road. You'll head on down towards Euston Station, and then just after that, St Pancras and King's Cross, Pentonville Road, and so on. If you take a right turn, heading off towards Paddington, it becomes the A40. But this is not a particularly pleasant road to walk along, so just going to walk along it for a little bit down towards Regent's Park Tube Station, and then I'm going to dodge inland slightly, and we'll see what interesting places we pass along the way, walking through Marylebone area, and take that route back to St Pancras, and then go and wring myself out as I'm absolutely soaking. That's the Church of St Marylebone, by the way, directly ahead of us. As you can see, this is a really busy thoroughfare in London, and it's not ideal for walking along on a lot of different levels. But I'm just going to walk down it a little way now and then turn inland to the south of Marylebone Road. Right, this road's way too busy. This is a street you may have heard of, Harley Street. Very private doctors down here. That will make you better for a small fortune. So if you hear people saying I've been referred to Harley Street, this is where they mean. Got to get away from that traffic, it's insane. Bank holiday and it's like that. I promise you London's not always this wet and rainy, particularly in April, but today, wow. It was absolutely stunning weather on Saturday. It wasn't so great yesterday, but it was. This is Devonshire Street, by the way. Less likely to get completely annihilated by a massive a bus or something going through a massive puddle on the roads back there. That would have topped it all today. These I guess these are what you would call off Harley Street doctors. Since we're not on Harley Street anymore. There's some serious real estate around here. Well, we're pretty much running parallel to Marylebone Road, Euston Road, A501, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's just basically a motorway. So these side streets are much quieter, much more interesting to walk down. Portland Place. We're walking down the Great Portland Street. Green man did appear. And again, that was good timing. Don't normally get that when it's pouring with rain. Normally you get the red man for about 10 minutes. So this is Great Portland Street. There's a tube station just up the top there. Oh, I'm not going that way, I'm going this way. Again, this is quite a busy road, but nothing like as bad as the 501 back there. Closed for approximately 2 years. Nothing like hurrying, is there? I find it quite fascinating. You can just be walking the streets of London here, and you know you're quite close to it, and all of a sudden, wow, there it is, BT Tower looming above you. area is known as Fitzrovia, which you'll probably spot on a few signs. There's one, in fact, on the cycle. Just walking around the base of the, well, it used to be called the Post Office Tower when it was originally opened. It's the BT Tower now. It's probably seen better days. It's up there somewhere, can't see it at all from here. Does anyone know if you can go in there anymore? It was the location of an IRA bomb back in the day. There was a revolving restaurant at the top and a viewing platform and such like. I think after the bomb, that was closed, but I don't know if it's been reopened since. It's certainly quite impressive when you stand right underneath it. Just one of London's landmarks that you'll see from more or less any angle. If you're flying into Heathrow over the Thames, you will almost, you will absolutely see the tower. In fact, you see it pretty much from everywhere. Oh, just crossing over Tottenham Court Road now, which I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, will have heard of. Usual array of stuff along here, especially if you want a Greg's sausage roll. Lots of electrical shops, techie shops down the other end towards Oxford Street. This is the opposite end. It's Euston Road just up there. Nothing to shout home about Tottenham Court Road, really. It's London's very own Eiffel Tower. Yeah. I'm still to head back slowly towards St Pancras and King's Cross now. What else is around here? There's one or two fairly interesting places that you can. It's a Royal Ear Hospital, just there. There's the British Museum, not too far away from here. Carry on down ahead there. Yeah, it's probably about a quarter of a mile from here, half a mile maybe. There's the Postal Museum as well, in Farringdon area, which is quite interesting. Never far from a pub in London either. Down these side streets, there's absolutely loads of them. I'm not saying they're all good. Probably some are and some aren't. But a quick trip to Google will probably give you a good idea as to the ones that are, particularly where it comes to the quality of their beer and the food. Either way around, you won't ever be too far away from a decent one. Let's go up to Gower Street now. This was Torrington Place. When the leaves are in full leaf, when the trees are in full leaf, I should say, you can't really see those buildings particularly well. They really are. It's just the incredible thing about London, you just come across these buildings that weren't destroyed during the war, and then you'll suddenly come to a very modern bit, and you conclude normally that that place probably was destroyed during the war. Well, this is Gordon Square. If you take a left turn, we're still running parallel to the 501. Just up there you'll come to Euston Station, Euston Square Underground Station also. So anyone that knows the walk between Euston Station and St Pancras will know that it's 5 to 10 minute walk straight down that busy road. If you take the back streets on either side, you can walk much more pleasantly past places like this. London's absolutely full of these. And it's actually stopped raining. And as if almost by magic, we come to the Tavistock Square. Told you, they're everywhere. Some of them might not have all that many facilities, but generally speaking, you can sit on the grass or sit on a seat and while away a short time with a coffee or whatever. It's got to be busier than being on that main road, right? It's stopped raining now, so there's a few more people about. Everyone's decided to venture outside. Yeah, just off the main drag, back there, you've got quite a lot of what you would class as small B&B type hotels. Privately owned, privately run, not part of chains. Some, as you get nearer to King's Cross, back in the day, some of them were far more dubious looking than they do look today. But I don't need to go into details about that. I'm sure you can work that one out for yourself. Surprised how many shops are open today. I mean, it's a public holiday. Most of the big shops, or in fact I think all of the big shops were shut yesterday, Easter Sunday. And there's just the kind of convenience stores and so on that were open, and the cafes, restaurants and what have you. Nearly back now, and it stopped raining. I'm going to head back down towards the Euston Road, cross over there, and I'll be back at St Pancras International, where I'm going to go and jump on the train, head home, dry out, have a coffee, etc, etc. Don't drive into London, absolute nightmare, parking. Come on the train. Per week. Per week. What can I say? There's that post office tower again. More green spaces. That, at the end of the road, is St Pancras Station. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed this little wander around London in the pouring rain, although it has actually stopped now and I'm beginning to dry out a little bit. People are hitting the streets now because before it starts raining again. I think walking in the rain for 2 hours justifies at least one little tick. But subscribe, I've got some more stuff coming. Plenty of plans in the pipeline over the next few years. And have a look at some of the videos I've already posted over the last few years from various places all around the world. But this is London. And there are plenty more walks like this. There's another one coming up I shall take tomorrow in South London, south of the river. There's a queue there for that place. Half Cup. Clearly has appeared on Instagram or something like that. Everyone's queuing up to get in there. I went to Florence in Italy, and as you do, you start Googling and having a look at different stuff, see where's a good place to grab a bite to eat. And there was somewhere, excuse me, do apologise, there was somewhere on there that was mentioned as doing absolutely fantastic ciabatta breads or some sort of like baguette type thing. Must have, must go. And I got there and the queue was like literally around the corner. I'm sorry, but it can't be that good. It can't be that good. And I generally tend to find that when somewhere has been hyped up to that extent and they've got queues out of the door all day long, all of a sudden it isn't that good, or is not as good as it was, because they don't think they have to try as hard. So beware of stuff like that, guys. On the other hand, if you see a queue, people are queuing for a reason. Right, we're back at St Pancras. Hope you've enjoyed this. Subscribe, tick the thing, ring the bell, do whatever. There's the British Library, by the way, which again is well worth a visit. I'd look at some of the maps in there, some of the old maps. You've got to request them. Can't just walk in and look at them. They go and find them for you. Absolutely fascinating. Right, it's going back to this busy Euston Road. Thanks for watching. Catch you again sometime. Cheers. Bye.
Ja, die zijn